Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to the channel, where we carefully unravel the threads of royal history and examine the most pressing developments emerging from the gilded halls of Buckingham Palace. Today, we turn to a saga of ongoing consequences, a story that strongly suggests that for one senior member of the royal family, the chapter of penance is nowhere near its end. We are speaking, of course, about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the Duke of York, whose name continues to surface amid the relentless controversy surrounding his association with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, and more recently, the devastating revelations contained in the explosive literary work of his late accuser. The former prince is reportedly enduring blow after blow, following his prominent naming by Virginia Giuffre in her newly released memoir, ominously titled Nobody's Girl. Before we descend into the labyrinth of royal naming conventions, and the ancient declarations that now threaten to redefine his identity entirely, please remember to show your support. Take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss our in-depth explorations into the heart of the monarchy. Your support truly helps us keep bringing these stories to you. The narrative around Andrew has long been one of exile and public disgrace, yet sources close to the inner workings of the monarchy suggest that the pain is far from over. Allegedly, Buckingham Palace itself is preparing to deliver what has been dramatically described as a final kick in the teeth to the former senior royal, as fresh, shocking details continue to emerge and demand a conclusive administrative response. At the center of this latest seismic shift lies the very foundation of his identity. His name, emerging documents point toward a painful new reality, one in which the disgraced royal stands to lose even more than the ceremonial titles already taken from him, the loss of his Royal Highness style, and the formal dignity of a prince, imposed after his settlement of the civil lawsuit brought by Miss Giuffre, has prompted royal aides and the palace's administrative arm to undertake a rigorous and painful review of exactly how he should be formally referenced in all future official communications. This is not merely a symbolic adjustment, it amounts to an institutional amputation. The latest controversy has focused on what appears at first glance to be a small detail, but in reality is a profoundly significant punctuation mark, the hyphen. Royal commentator and respected historian Ian Lloyd expressed clear surprise, and even a measure of historical shock, in response to a recent palace announcement that conspicuously omitted the hyphen from Andrew's formal name. For those unfamiliar with the subtle yet rigid rules that govern the identities of the British royal family, the surname Mountbatten Windsor is a carefully constructed hybrid, a testament to the enduring union of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. The hyphen in that name signifies a particular historical lineage and, crucially, a direct and immediate connection to the core of the reigning house. I was quite surprised when the palace statement came out giving Andrew's name without a hyphen, given the historic precedent for one, Lloyd explained in a published account with The Times. This omission is not being viewed by observers as a simple typographical slip, but rather as a deliberate, calculated move to further push the Duke of York away from the symbolic heart of the Windsor dynasty. The administrative machinery now whirring into motion appears to be driven by a thorough re-examination of Queen Elizabeth II's seminal declaration to the Privy Council in the year 1960. This historical document, issued well before Andrew's birth, now holds the key to determining the official surname of non-titled royal descendants, and its interpretation is, in many ways, being wielded against the Duke. It is important to pause and truly appreciate the weight and timing of this declaration. Queen Elizabeth II issued this decree shortly before the birth of Prince Andrew in February of 1960. At that time, the question of the royal surname was a delicate matter, balancing both political sensitivities and personal tensions. Prince Philip, whose family name was Mountbatten, itself an anglicized version of the German Battenberg, had long expressed frustration that he was, in his own words, the only man in England whose children did not bear his name. The royal house was officially known as Windsor, a title established by his wife's grandfather, King George V. The 1960 declaration was therefore a carefully negotiated compromise. It honored the historic House of Windsor while simultaneously acknowledging Prince Philip's lineage. Yet buried in its legal phrasing was a crucial clause, one that now carries immense consequences for the disgraced Duke. The declaration stated, with unmistakable clarity, that any descendants who did not hold the style of Royal Highness or the dignity of Prince or Princess would bear the surname Mountbatten Windsor. When Andrew was stripped of his HRH style and his formal princely attributes in the aftermath of the Giuffre scandal, he effectively fell within the scope of this ruling. His status shifted from one of exalted privilege, exempt from such requirements, to one of diminished rank, making the rule fully applicable. King Charles III's office, operating with heightened vigilance regarding the monarchy's integrity, is now said to be scrutinizing this historical declaration with great care. It is a legally binding directive that defines the naming conventions for royal descendants who lack the titles that traditionally allow them to use the singular surname Windsor. The precise wording of the declaration is chillingly relevant today. My descendants, other than descendants, enjoying the style, title, or attribute of Royal Highness and the titular dignity of Prince or Princess, shall bear the name of Mountbatten Windsor. The key phrase here is unmistakable. Other than descendants enjoying the style of Royal Highness, Andrew no longer enjoys that style. Therefore, by the letter of the law, he must now conform to the naming rules set forth for those without such dignity. The administrative consequences of this could be profound. The former husband of Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, may soon be formally required to use the full hyphenated surname Mountbatten Windsor in all official communications. This may sound like a minor technicality to the casual observer, but within the royal family, surnames are deeply symbolic. The name Windsor signifies belonging to the current reigning house. The loss of his princely title was already a devastating blow, but to compel him to adopt the hyphenated surname, or worse, to drop the Windsor component altogether, leaving him simply Andrew Mountbatten, would mark a painful and permanent institutional distancing. It signals that the palace is intent not merely on removing his military patronages or public roles, it is redefining his very relationship with the crown itself. The fact that royal aides are revisiting documents written more than 6 decades ago underscores the gravity of the situation. This is not about modern public relations strategy, it is about enforcing the precise legal language established by the late Queen. The palace is taking the long view, ensuring that Andrew's official identity reflects his significantly reduced standing within the royal hierarchy. Not just today, but permanently. Historian Ian Lloyd's reaction to the missing hyphen is deeply revealing, because it underscores the almost subconscious power these naming conventions hold within the monarchy. A royal name is not a trivial matter. It is a carefully shaped symbol of legitimacy, lineage, and rank. To remove the hyphen, or to insist upon the full use of the hyphenated surname, is a pointed way of saying, you are no longer a prince who may simply call yourself Windsor. You are now firmly categorized as part of the wider non-reigning branch of the family. The implications for King Charles III are enormous. As a monarch determined to uphold a slimmed-down, tightly managed, and morally unimpeachable royal household, any ambiguity surrounding Andrew's title or name only risks dragging the king back into scandals he is desperate to move past. The renewed examination of the 1960 declaration is the legal instrument that allows Charles to finalize Andrew's status without issuing a dramatic public proclamation or seeking a new act of parliament. It is, in effect, a quiet administrative execution of the Duke's remaining royal identity. If this review concludes that Andrew must strictly follow the Mountbatten Windsor designation, the change will ripple outward. Public institutions, private organizations, and even family members will be expected to adopt the name consistently. Sarah Ferguson, for example, in any future statements regarding her former husband, would be compelled to use the full hyphenated surname. This seemingly small adjustment would serve as a continuous bureaucratic reminder of Andrew's downfall. Virginia Giuffre's memoir, Nobody's Girl, acted as the catalyst for this latest round of punitive measures. Its painful reminders of past allegations reignited global scrutiny, leaving the palace with no choice but to address the unresolved ambiguity of Andrew's status. The monarchy must demonstrate to the world and to history that birthright does not shield anyone from accountability. Stripping him of the exclusive use of the Windsor name would be the final symbolic blow. He has already lost his military titles, the HRH style, and all public funding. To lose the singular name associated with the reigning house would mark the ultimate institutional rejection, the severing of a symbolic birthright. This moment serves as a powerful reminder of how enduring royal documents truly are. A declaration issued by Queen Elizabeth II in 1960, crafted to resolve a familial naming compromise, is now being used to delineate the limits of her disgraced son's identity more than 6 decades later. Tradition, when applied to modern scandal, can be devastatingly precise. There is also a profound emotional dimension. To be administratively reclassified, to have one's name officially altered by decree, is a potent psychological rebuke. It signals to the world that the privileges of royalty are conditional and the protection of the crown is not eternal. King Charles III is ensuring that Andrew's administrative identity perfectly reflects his present status. He may still be a descendant of the late Queen, but he is no longer among the princes who form the beating heart of the House of Windsor. He is relegated to the broader, legally defined group of Mountbatten Windsor descendants. This unfolding story stands as a stark reminder that in the realm of royalty, history is not merely archival. It is an active legal force capable of delivering judgment at any moment. In the aftermath of the Giuffre allegations, the most damaging blows are not delivered through public spectacle, but through the quiet, deliberate interpretation of legal documents written more than 60 years ago. This administrative move to redefine Andrew's name may be the most lasting form of punishment he has faced. Titles can be removed, patronages can be withdrawn, and duties can be reassigned. But altering the official surname determines how future generations and historical records will identify him. It rewrites the way he exists within the royal lineage itself. And so, the pressing question remains, what do you think of this latest development? Do you believe the palace is justified in invoking the 1960 declaration to formally redefine Andrew's name, ensuring that his identity reflects his sharply diminished standing? Or does this feel like an unnecessary, overly punitive administrative step taken against someone who has already been thoroughly marginalized? We would love to hear your perspectives, so please share your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single message, and your insight adds depth and value to this community. If you found this detailed analysis helpful, don't forget to like the video, make sure to subscribe for more comprehensive royal commentary, and join us next time as we continue uncovering the evolving dynamics, decisions, and hidden mechanisms of the British monarchy. Thank you for watching.